Welcome to Debate Combats, where we test big ideas under real pressure. Tonight we ask whether disaster zone rebuilding in the United States should favor open market competition over union project labor agreements, using lessons from past catastrophes. Our backdrop is the shattered streets and burned hills, where every lost day means deeper loss for families and small businesses. The affirmative, our conservative team, argues that open bidding and flexible hiring rebuild faster and cheaper while keeping safety laws intact. The negative, our progressive team, contends that PLAs secure fair pay, proven skills, and safety standards that protect workers and communities. Both sides will draw from past recoveries and weigh speed, equity, and quality, so listen for trade-offs, not just talking points. Affirmative, the floor is yours. Give us your case with one clear line and one strong echo.
Rebuilding after disaster demands speed with accountability, and open competition delivers both by letting any qualified contractor bid under clear rules.
When the smoke clears, people need roofs and power now, so a wider pool of crews means more boots on the ground by next week rather than next month.
Open bidding pressures prices down while rewarding reliability, because firms that cut corners lose future work, and firms that perform win again.
Competition also unlocks surge capacity, since non-union and union shops can mobilize side by side when barriers are low and standards are fixed by law.
Project labor agreements can narrow the field before the race even starts, which can raise costs and slow start times when every hour is precious.
Small local contractors often lack the paperwork or due structure for PLAs, yet they know the terrain, the suppliers, and the neighbors, and they can move fast.
Modern procurement already mandates safety training, wage compliance, and inspections, so we do not need a second layer that ties hands during an emergency.
Past audits after storms show that delays and overruns thrive in red tape, not in transparency, so sunlight and open bids beat gatekeeping.
If we want resilient rebuilds, we should invite many competitors, measure their performance, and keep the best on task until the last home is safe.
Call it a race against mold, fraud, and despair, and in that race we win with a bigger lane, a louder whistle, and a clear finish line.
The principle is simple. More qualified bidders mean quicker mobilization, more scrutiny, and better value for taxpayers and survivors.
Let us fix streets, schools, and lines with open books and open doors, because recovery should be a ladder, not a private club.
Thank you, affirmative, and now negative. Answer speed with standards and show us how they can coexist without leaving people behind.
Project labor agreements, often called PLAs, set one playbook for wages, training, and safety so that large crews mesh like gears instead of grinding like sand.
When power lines dangle and hospitals need repairs, a unified standard prevents accidents, wage theft, and chaos while families try to heal.
PLAs do not block competition, they organize it, because firms that accept the standard can still bid, and the lowest responsible bidder still wins.
A shared training baseline means fewer rework orders and fewer injuries, which saves days and dollars when the clock is cruel.
Disasters attract fly-by-night outfits that vanish after payday, and PLAs filter for verified skills and enforceable commitments that stay after the cameras leave.
Local hire provisions in many PLAs keep money in the community, which helps shops reopen and keeps young workers from leaving for good.
Speed without standards is a false bargain, because rebuilding twice costs more than building right once under a tested framework.
Workers who know they are protected work faster and smarter, because trust on the site is as vital as concrete in the slab.
Uniform rules reduce disputes between crews and contractors, so tasks hand off cleanly, and inspectors can verify quality in one pass.
In a storm zone, a missed harness or a bad splice is not a line item, it is a funeral or a blackout, and PLAs cut those risks down.
The ethical lesson from past disasters is that fairness and safety are not luxuries, they are lifelines, so standards must travel with speed.
Let us rebuild with dignity baked in, because a safe paycheck and a solid school roof are not extras. They are the promise we owe survivors.
Affirmative. Take the ball and drive your point with sharp focus.
Open competition in disaster rebuilding is like clearing a blocked artery, because it restores flow quickly while inspectors act as the heartbeat that keeps quality steady.
Negative. Your reply on defense. Keep it crisp.
Without a shared standard like a PLA, mixed crews stumble over mismatched training, and every stumble in a danger zone becomes another day a family waits.
Negative stays on the front foot. Launch your attack.
When companies race on cost alone, the bid becomes a limbo bar for wages and safety, and bodies pay the price when the bar drops too low.
Affirmative. Steady the line and answer.
Safety is set by law and enforced by inspectors, so letting more qualified firms bid widens capacity without lowering 1 inch of the floor everyone must stand on.
Negative. Assemble your duo and press your advantage.
Large rebuilds run smoother when every worker speaks the same safety language and follows the same pay rules, which is exactly what a PLA guarantees under one enforceable roof.
The record shows that standardized apprenticeship pipelines reduce injuries and rework, and in a disaster zone, less rework is more roofs back over kids' heads.
Time. Negative. I am cutting in here. And the pass goes to the affirmative pair.
A single template can become a single bottleneck, whereas open bidding multiplies crews that meet the same legal standards while letting local experts step in fast.
Give transparent scoring, milestone audits and clawbacks for poor performance, and competition turns into discipline with teeth instead of a ritual that slows shovels.
Affirmative. Thank you. Over to the negative for a 2-person defense, 1 to answer and 1 to poke holes.
You say oversight is enough, yet emergency sites are noisy, wet, and chaotic, and a pre-agreed framework makes safe behavior the default rather than a gamble.
If your oversight is so strong, why did contractor churn and wage violations spike after past storms? And would a PLA's uniform logbook not cut those repeat mistakes?
Back to the affirmative for a 2-person defense, 1 answer and 1 pointed critique.
Violations were caught precisely because oversight worked, and the remedy is faster enforcement plus broader bidding that deters monopolies rather than a gate that screens out help.
Your model treats every honest local crew like a suspect, and that presumption of guilt shrinks the bench when the season demands every skilled hand.
Judges, midpoint snapshot please. Brief calls on strengths, weaknesses, and encouragement.
I lean negative for now because the safety narrative is concrete and human-centered, but affirmative's transparency tools are promising if tied to strict deadlines and automatic penalties.
I tilt affirmative because cost control and speed are existential in recovery, yet I need clearer proof that their model locks in quality when headlines fade and budgets tighten.
I am split down the middle since both frames can work, and I want each side to quantify delays avoided or injuries prevented rather than trading metaphors.
Round 2 opens, with fresh ground expected. Negative, you have the serve.
Let us talk about climate resilience. Because PLAs can require certified skills for advanced materials and grid hardening that ad hoc crews may not master under storm clouds.
Affirmative, hold your line on defense.
Specifications for resilient materials live in the contract, and any bidder who meets them qualifies, so competition invites more certified crews rather than fewer.
Affirmative, push a clean strike on offense.
Disaster survivors need options, and open bidding pools in out-of-state teams when local capacity is maxed, which cuts wait times that turn water damage into structural loss.
Negative, answer that pressure.
Importing unfamiliar crews without a shared rulebook breeds miscommunication on complex retrofits, while a PLA aligns vocabulary, pay scales, and shift rules before the sirens stop.
Affirmative pair, your attack with leader and support.
Resilience is a deliverable, so set hard specs, fix milestones, and let the market discover faster ways to meet them, because innovation needs room to breathe.
Tie bonuses to on-time, on-spec delivery, publish dashboards nightly, and use liquidated damages for misses, which turns speed and quality into the same scoreboard.
Negative pair, your counterstrike with leader and supporter.
Standards do not smother innovation. They set the floor that stops a race to the bottom, while crews experiment safely above it.
With PLAs, inspectors check one protocol instead of many, which speeds verification and frees time for hard problems like microgrid integration.
Affirmative now, 2-person defense with an answer and a provocative question.
One protocol sounds tidy until it becomes slow to amend, so how do you update your single playbook when supply chains snap and a substitute material arrives tomorrow?
If your uniform rules fit every site, why did some PLA projects still miss targets after fires and floods? And would more competition not have added surge power when you lag?
Negative closes this sequence with a two-person defense, answer first, and then a precise critique.
Updates are negotiated once, published to all crews, and enforced uniformly, which is faster than teaching a dozen contractors a dozen different fixes mid-crisis.
Your plan leans on perfect oversight and perfect bidders, yet disasters attract opportunists, so a binding framework is the guardrail that stops the bus from tipping.
We reset and sharpen, affirmative. You have a quick lane to attack again.
A larger qualified bidder pool reduces single-point failures, spreads weather risk across schedules, and gives survivors choices without bending one safety rule.
Negative, a short shield before we move.
Choice without trust is a mirage, and families trust crews who work under clear, enforceable commitments that do not melt when the bid is won.
Affirmative, one more spear from your side.
When the rules are law-backed and the books are open, adding competitors is not chaos, it is redundancy, and redundancy is exactly what resilience means.
Negative, a compact rebuttal, please.
Redundancy is powerful, but it fails if the parts do not mesh, and PLAs are the gear teeth that lock many crews into one machine.
Switching tempo, affirmative solo defense right now.
If the teeth never change, the machine grinds when new parts arrive, so flexible competition with tough inspection is the better lubricant for real-world shocks.
Negative, deliver a solo attack with something we have not heard.
Rebuilds are classrooms as well, and PLAs scale apprenticeships that turn emergency dollars into lasting local skills rather than a one-season gig.
Affirmative, solo defense, to that apprenticeship point.
Contracts can require apprenticeship hours and local hire targets in open bids, so training grows even as we keep the door open to more teams.
Negative duo, your coordinated attack returns, leader then support.
Disaster work is high risk, so a unified command on labor avoids jurisdiction fights that stall cranes and strand concrete.
People cannot live inside schedules, they live inside homes. And PLAs reduce drama that steals weeks from families who have none left.
Affirmative pair, answer tightly and point out a crack.
Unified command is great when it adapts fast, yet PLAs can take longer to modify when the terrain or technology changes by the hour.
If your setup is so smooth, show us the average days saved per project, because our open model publishes those numbers nightly and cuts laggards quickly.
Negative pair, your defense now with one answer and one targeted weakness.
Several agencies report fewer disputes under PLAs, which reduces stoppages that drain budgets and morale.
Your nightly dashboard sounds strong, but speed targets without standardized training can push tired crews into shortcuts that turn into injuries 2 weeks later.
Affirmative, another duo on attack, leader and echo.
We fuse speed with safety by making payment dependent on third-party audits, not self-attestation, which keeps incentives aligned across many bidders.
Call it hard love with bright lights, because every invoice meets a checklist that no charm or excuse can dodge.
Negative, duo attack to answer that structure.
Checklists work best when the workforce is trained to one high bar, and PLAs lock that bar in before the first hammer swings.
Your audits count what happened, but standards shape what happens next, and prevention beats paperwork every day.
Affirmative, two-person defense with an answer and a provocative nudge.
Prevention is built into codes and insurance requirements, and competition brings in specialists who meet those codes while scaling faster.
If your single standard is so nimble, would you commit to automatic clause updates tied to supply data and new safety bulletins within 48 hours?
Negative, close this mini cycle with a firm defense.
Yes, we support rapid update clauses, because a living framework is the point, and PLAs provide the legal spine to propagate those updates across all crews at once.
Before we reset, I want each bench to show a voice we have not heard much, so make it count.
Families remember who showed up first and finished last, and open bidding helps more trusted locals show up on day one with keys to the supply yard.
Families also remember who stayed when the news vans left, and PLAs bind commitments that keep trained crews in town until the last inspection clears.
We pivot to cost under uncertainty, negative brief assault.
When storms now hit harder and closer together, long-term safety savings under PLAs beat short-term discounts that fade when roofs fail again.
Affirmative, a clean counter.
The best savings come from competition under firm specs, because then innovation, not favoritism, decides who brings down both costs and defects.
Negative, a single shield.
Innovation without common guardrails often repeats old mistakes, and people in shelters cannot afford our learning curve.
Affirmative, your single strike.
Guardrails are statutes, codes, and inspectors, so add more lanes, not fewer, and we will pass the slow trucks without leaving the road.
We are approaching crossfire, but keep the lines clean, negative compact reply.
If all lanes are safe, align them first because misaligned lanes cause pileups in the rain, and a PLA is the lane marker you can see in the storm.
Affirmative, short defense before I turn to the judges later for closing impressions.
The marker matters, but so does traffic volume, and competition is how we open detours when the main road is washed out.
Negative, give me one more fresh angle on community impact.
PLAs can include community benefit agreements that earmark scholarships and local procurement, so recovery dollars teach higher and buy close to home.
Affirmative, an angle on small business vitality.
Open bids with fair bonding and split packages let small firms win scopes they can finish well, which diversifies the bench before the next storm.
Negative, your last single defense in this arc.
Split packages still need coordination, and uniform labor terms reduce friction at those seams, which is where many projects leak time.
Affirmative, a final single attack in this arc.
Uniform terms are useful until they become uniform delays, and a competitive field with clear metrics can swap underperformers quickly without renegotiating the whole rulebook.
We are nearly at the bell for this segment, so I want precise human scale statements from each bench.
Our model promises that the person holding a nail gun goes home with all 10 fingers and a fair paycheck, which is the baseline a just recovery demands.
Our model promises that the same person gets back to work tomorrow because the site is ready, supplied, and not jammed by paperwork that helps nobody in the rain.
Judges will weigh the numbers later, and both benches will soon face rapid fire, so take a breath and sharpen your best evidence for the next exchange. Before we hit the home stretch, are there angles left on the table, unanswered risks, or sharp numbers either side wants to surface?
One more angle is procurement time, because emergency waivers paired with open bidding can cut weeks without cutting safety.
One more angle is worker retention, because a clear framework keeps skilled crews from hopping jobs when pressure spikes.
We should also mention supplier diversification, since more bidders usually means more supply lines and fewer choke points.
We should also flag mental health and burnout, because predictable shifts under a common standard reduce deadly fatigue.
We move to open floor, alternate freely, keep it fiery but fair.
If the goal is speed with integrity, why not let every qualified crew compete and then make payment depend on independent inspections?
Because bad actors can pass one inspection and fail the next, while a PLA forces training and pay standards upstream where the rot starts.
Training can be required in the bid specs, so you get upstream discipline without narrowing the field before the race.
Bid specs are paper until enforcement bites, and the point of a PLA is that enforcement has teeth that are ready from day one.
Enforcement has teeth when we publish milestones and claw back money for misses, which any contract can do, with or without a PLA.
Clawbacks happen after harm, whereas uniform rules prevent the harm in the first place by aligning crews before they touch a beam.
Alignment is great, but bottlenecks are not, and a single framework can become a single jam when suppliers shift and labor markets wobble.
A living framework can update faster than retraining a dozen different crews, and it gives inspectors one language to verify at the speed of trust.
Then commit to auto-update clauses tied to supply and code bulletins, and we will commit to open dashboards that name laggards in plain English.
Deal on updates, and we will add apprentice ratios that grow local skills so the next disaster does not start with an empty bench.
Local skills can grow in open bids by scoring apprenticeship hours and local hire, which avoids locking out small shops that know the block.
Small shops can thrive under PLAs too when scopes are right-sized, and they gain predictable conditions that beat chaos during a storm season.
Predictability matters, yet competition is how you discover better methods, and discovery is how you shave weeks off a calendar, that families cannot endure.
Discovery without guardrails has already given us tragedies, and families remember funerals longer than they remember ribbon cuttings.
Nobody here is selling shortcuts, because we count safety as a fixed cost, not a variable, and competition works inside that boundary.
If safety is truly fixed, then accept the uniform wage floor and certified training that PLAs codify, because fixed means fixed.
We accept fixed floors in law, wage compliance, and OSHA training, and beyond that, we want many ladders to climb the wall faster.
Many ladders fall when the rungs differ, and PLAs make the rungs match so teams can swap without relearning the climb mid-rescue.
Matching rungs is fine until you need a taller ladder tomorrow, and open bidding brings in the specialty rigs without waiting for a rule rewrite.
Tall ladders still need harnesses that fit, and common terms stop the fall before gravity does, which is not a place to improvise.
Improvisation's not the pitch. Adaptation is. And our model adapts by swapping slow crews with faster ones under transparent scoring.
Transparent scoring can reward speed over judgment, and judgment is what keeps a wet trench from becoming a headline.
Time on the free-for-all. Affirmative. Give us your closing duo. Facts first, persuasion second.
Here are the facts we have put forward. Open bidding increases the pool of qualified crews, reduces single-point failure risk, speeds mobilization, invites supplier diversity, and can lock safety, wage compliance, and training through contract law, inspections, milestones, and clawbacks.
To the judges, picture families who need roofs and power in days, not months. And picture a scoreboard that pays only for verified quality, because competition under firm rules is not a gamble. It is a disciplined race that saves time, money, and pride for the communities that refuse to be defined by disaster.
Negative. Last word on your side. Same roles. Facts, then persuasion.
Our record shows that unified labor terms reduce disputes, prevent wage theft, standardize training, lower injuries, and streamline inspections across very large sites where many contractors meet, which lowers rework and keeps crews on task from the first pour to the final check.
To the judges, think about trust under a black sky, because a clear, enforceable framework means every worker and every family knows the rules before dawn, and that trust turns into safer days, steadier pay, and rebuilds that last when the next storm comes.
Judges, your final calls with praise where it is due and reasons stated. Same order as before, please.
I vote negative, because the case for standardized training and enforceable safety felt specific to disaster chaos, while still leaving room for innovation through updates and scope design.
I vote affirmative because the mechanisms for transparent scoring, milestone enforcement, and supplier diversification answered my cost and schedule concerns without conceding on safety.
I break the tie for negative because their prevention frame prioritized lives upstream, and their commitment to living updates persuaded me that uniformity need not become rigidity.
By a 2-to-1 decision, the winners are the negative, our progressive team, and well fought by both benches.
Thank you for a tough match, and we dedicate this win to the workers who build in the rain and still smile on payday.
We are grateful for the pushback, because strong questions sharpen strong standards, and the sites will be safer for it.
We respect the verdict, and we will come back with tighter numbers to prove that open, disciplined competition can move even faster without a single cut to safety.
Congratulations to our opponents, and next time we will show dashboards and outcomes that speak louder than our metaphors.
Our thanks to both teams and to our judges for clarity, grit, and grace under pressure. Thanks as well to you for staying with us through every claim, counterclaim, and human moment in this debate. If you like the heat and the light, please tap like, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment with the next topic we should tackle. You can support the show via the QR code in the lower right of the video or through the donation link in the description. In the description, you will also find links to other series that are completely different, so try a few and tell us what you think. This is Debate Combat signing off for now. See you next time and bring your best arguments back to the arena.